Welcome to Cooltopia NYC, a physical, interactive, and totally immersive experience where you get to explore the land that brought you Blue Cat and friends. But before we show you that, let's get back to the cat that started it all. No, not that cat. This one. Now, some of you may not be familiar with this cat, or even this one, but all these characters help pave the way to the blue cat that we all know and love. Let's hear from two of the founders, Klon and Elu. Hey, that's me.
Well, I actually wanted to be a zookeeper, if I want to be honest, but it wasn't until I saw SpongeBob and a few other cartoon shows that it became my dream to do cartoons and animation, and just to have a cartoon show was like the pie in the sky like dream for me. So that's what I quickly kind of took the steps to try to do in life. Yeah.
What did I want to be when I grew up as a kid? I wanted to be a cartoonist, funny enough, when I was younger, but after just trying to draw Dragon Ball Z characters and trace Pokemon and Pikachu, I was like, I don't think this is my thing. But I always had the affinity to like create and design, and that's why I went to design school. And throughout high school, I fell in love with there was a lot of design challenges for this website that did like t-shirt graphics. So I cut my teeth a lot of trying to do these challenges, and I was always compelled to try to like crack the code and win these design challenges that I finally did after my 273rd submission. Shout out Threadless, thanks. But I sort of, after design school, I was like, I like being a creative, but I also like making a thing that people can touch from whether it's like an app or building. So when I was a kid, it was more so, make art or make a cartoon, but that just evolved over the years into making, still being a creator, but it wasn't still being a creator, but it wasn't through the same lens of like as static as it first started, I think.
Well, that's a fun story. I think it started with, at the time I was doing the Cattoonist and pretty fresh into it. And funny enough, I left my sketchbook in our graphic design classroom. He was the year above me.
It was calculated. He wanted to meet.
Yeah, I wanted to meet. And so I left my sketchbook in there on accident. And I get a text the next few days or so. I was like, hey, I have your sketchbook. You want to come grab it? And so that was kind of the first little connection point.
Yeah.
But our mutual friend, Matt Evans.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
so we went to Georgia State, so we were both in the design program. I was a year ahead of him, and the design program works, it's like a 2-year thing. So I was like the cool kid on the block, at least I thought I was. And
you
then,
were.
I was. Record shows. And then when you got in, I started seeing some of your work on Instagram and your sketchbook floating around. I'm like, uh-oh, there's a new challenger has appeared. So yeah, we ended up just becoming friends. And it was our other friend, Matt, who was like a painter who also goes to Georgia State. And he was like, you guys should meet.
Yeah,
and,
he made that connection point.
Yeah.
And then we had the 24-hour repack, which I feel like
48-hour.
A 48-hour.
Yeah.
We had 2 days to do it.
Yeah.
But that was like the first project we got to do together, and
Yeah.
I feel like we realized we worked really well together.
Yeah, we're always on the same page. Yeah.
Blue Cat's taken all sorts of forms, but really started in 2013 when I was just a college kid, kind of doodling in my sketchbooks or homework or whatever it may be, and it slowly evolved into an actual character. Where then I started the Cattoonist in 2015, and that was kind of the moment I was like, okay, I have a character here. Let's do something with this. And so I was putting it on merch, just constantly drawing every day and doing little activities in Atlanta. And then in 2018, I stopped drawing the character because it just went down a path I wasn't really happy about. And it wasn't until this guy messaged me about blockchain, and long story short, here we are. Why cats?
It's more. I mean, obviously, it's your answer knows more than my answer. But I feel like you probably were just making characters, and the character happened to be most closely resembling a cat.
A cat. Yeah, I think that is it. And there was no real reason it was a cat, because even to me, Blue Cat really isn't a cat necessarily. Like, it's not licking its paw, it's not playing with a ball of yarn.
It's more human, right?
More human. It was more of a reflection of me. And I think maybe I relate more to cats subconsciously. But we like the cats.
Yeah, we like
so
the cats.
here we are. Yes, I got one cat. His name is Snuggles. It's the first pet I've ever had, and I already miss him.
Yeah, so where to begin? So I saw the market opportunity with NFTs through seeing the apes happen, and at first I was just like, I don't get it. And then upon further investigation, my gears started going, and I'm like, oh, this is digital collectibles, and as someone who's into Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh and all that, I saw the opportunity there. So that's when I had the idea to do my own project that I hit up Klon to do, and he was doing motion graphics at the time. So this was before we even had the idea to do Cool Cats at all. I was wanting to do my own thing, and on Twitter, the best way to push and promote your project was things that were animated. So like static images or motion graphics don't perform better than static images. So I knew that through Instagram, Klon was doing a lot more motion stuff. So I was like, dude, I got an idea. I'm working on this NFT stuff. Like, you should come help me with it. And then, long story short, that ended up just not materializing. But through that process, we ended up needing our own Solidity developer, which at the time, and still now somewhat to some degree, is like finding a needle in the haystack, because it's such a new booming industry that's like any project that wants to do any NFT, anything, you need a Solidity dev. So we were on the hunt for one, and we had the art, and we had just the whole brand done for the project we had previously been working on, but we didn't have the Solidity dev to make it happen. So we're scrolling through Twitter, we're really let down because the guy we did have, he rugged us, aka he decided to do his own thing. And we found this other project that ended up being created by Tom and Link, our other two co-founders. So we ended up in their Discord. We explained this project that we had. It was 90% there, and we're like, hey, we love your guys' website. Your mint button works. Clearly, you know Solidity and that. So like, let's work together. But they were like, okay, we should collab, but we don't necessarily want to get this thing over the finish line that you guys have been doing just yourselves. We'd rather do something like net new. So the challenge from them to us was, if I were to scrap the thing we were thinking of, like what's the next thing?
Right, and it wasn't until I looked at a poster on my wall, and it was from the Cattoonist, and it was already Blue Cat in all these different outfits, and it was like, dude, this has been right in front of us the whole time. Let's just use Blue Cat.
Yeah.
And yeah, how we found the other two developers was the first NFT I ever bought was their project. And so that's kind of how the connection point was made. And then, like Evan said, we needed a developer, they needed the art, and so Cool Cats was this perfect fusion of all four of us coming together.
Yeah.
So now that you know a bit about our history, let's talk Cooltopia. For NFT NYC, we wanted to do something big, fun, and inclusive to everyone. Hey, that rhymes. We didn't just want a super exclusive party with celebrities. We wanted to make memories that you have to experience for yourself. And what better a way than to take our already established world and bring it to life. While recreating Cooltopia was already a huge task, it couldn't be just a quick walkthrough event with 1 or 2 photo ops. That's been done. We wanted to create something that transported people entirely into our world that they could touch, play, and most importantly, have fun in. We needed it to be a living, breathing, interactive experience. Open and free to all, big and small. To do this, we developed a unique gaming system where everyone who attended was given a personal, interactive band. These bands allowed visitors to interact with games and various touch points around Cooltopia to amass points. Now, while collecting points can be fun, it's way more fun when there's a goal in mind, and it's even more fun when there's a reward to be had. We created a system where Cool Cat lovers could either spend money or the points they collected on a variety of exclusive, never-before-seen merch. Just look at the Chugs plushie, so cute. Hoodies, t-shirts, and beanies too. I got my look for the season. Some merch was exclusive just to cat holders, but no matter if you were a holder, NFT newbie, or someone who just strolled in off the streets of New York, you could claim a reward just for exploring Cooltopia. Now that's cool.
How would you describe Web3?
Web3 is an interesting one. It's like the Wild West. It's the undefined, it's the gray area. It's this one big old experiment where anything goes and a lot of things don't go. It's very community centric. It's very, the one rule is there are no rules, which is exciting and equally is debilitating. But it's the Web3 space that is what perpetuated us to have the growth that we did. It's very community driven. It's very call and response. Web 2 is a lot more prescriptive in that, you know, a company or a brand says we're going to do this and the community isn't particularly heard. Whereas Web 3 space is very collaborative. You know, like you ask the community what their opinion is on it, and it's a lot more bi-directional. That'd be my take. I think on what Web 3 is.
And Web 3 is just this technology that, you know, is the blockchain. It's this decentralized internet that we all get to use that no one person owns, and we all just kind of love the technology and where we see the potential possibilities of where all this can go, but it's up to us and other projects to kind of figure out where it will go.
Help materialize that.
Yeah, help materialize it, because it's really just like this crazy idea right now.
Yeah, and also Web3 is ultimately, right now when you log into all your different social accounts or whatever platform, you're signing in. Web3 is the sort of like one wallet, one account to rule them all. So whether you're platform hopping, you know, your PFP or your account based on connecting through your wallet, you're the same person everywhere. It's like that's the Web3. It's sort of the opportunity to it's like how your social security number is your form of identification. Web3 has the opportunity to be the same thing, where it's, you know, any platform you can connect and be the same person without creating an account. So that's at least the potential, I think, of what we're working with.
I think Cool Cats resonates with the community because it was just kind of the safe place in the Web3 space that wasn't really around yet. You know, there's Bored Apes, but other than that, there was a lot of just scam projects. And I think with us, we had lowered our mint price at the time, and it just showed people we weren't a cash grab. And then on top of that, I think people really resonated with the art. And then before we realized, like a few weeks in, this like family was starting in our Discord, and it was just everyone was trying to look out for each other, educate each other. You know, if someone was going through a hard time, they would be there for them. And I really think that kind of family aspect is what made our community so amazing. Yeah,
it incubated a lot of like real, authentic connections. And I think people love a good story. People love a good origin story. So the first hook is seeing Blue Cat and falling in love with the art, and then through the Discord being like, wait a second, this guy's been working on this character since high school. Like this is a legacy thing. This came from a place of joy and frustration and self-reflection and, like, you know, embodying someone's self. And I think that's the thing that catches a lot of people in and draws them in and helps them see the picture of, oh, Cool Cats is this thing that's going to incubate and materialize into so much more than just this NFT project. But I think it's the origin story and the narrative that started with Blue Cat and Cartoonist. It's like that's what people fall in love with. Advice I'd give to people coming into the space is authenticity and transparency and community. I think those are the sort of three pillars of, you know, just like Mama's made recipe. Like it's the heart in it that's like the special ingredient that you can't replicate that sauce. Anyone can just like produce some art or produce like an app or something for the sake of it, but there's that authentic component that I think when you can materialize that, that's what captivates and grabs people's attention in a way that really resonates with them. And I think it's a tough nut to crack, but I think that's sort of the secret, not so secret sauce.
And then everyone in the Web3 space is really smart. And if you're not being authentic to them and it looks like you're just trying to scam them or take money, they're gonna pick up on that. So that's why curating the community and like focusing on your brand and being authentic to it is so important. Where we're sitting right now is Town Hall. We're in the middle of Cooltopia and the world that we're building. But we have the flower forest over here, we have the Marshmallow Mountains over there, and we have the Critten Bay over here. And back there we have the Upside Down World, which is sort of the lore of one of our legendary cats. We have 9 of them. And so the whole purpose of this event is to really explain the lore and the world that we're building and what Cooltopia means to us.
Yeah, and give the community at large and the world around us a touch point to beyond NFTs, because a lot of people, just like when Bitcoin first came out, it was this narrative of, well, I can't touch it, I can't see it, like where does it exist? Is it in the computer? Is it in the internet? I think we're experiencing to some degree the same thing with NFTs. It's this very like, oh, is it just an image? What is it tied to? So this interpretation of Cooltopia for us that we're living in right here is it's our first touch point and interactive experience, so people can understand that the IP we've created that started on the blockchain and from NFTs is way much more than that. You know, we want to transcend the blockchain. We are going to transcend the blockchain, but I think this is our first attempt at decoupling from just the blockchain, NFT, everything. That's something we're always going to be doing, but we're not going to be bound to that. So this is the first iteration of being able to experience Cooltopia in the flesh.
For those who wanted to get more involved in the lore, you might be encountered by the cat detective, Purrlock Holmes, who was on the lookout to send Cooltopians on various quests for, you guessed it, even more prizes. You could even get your world turned upside down by exploring Upside Down Cat's house. He is a legend after all, so it was fitting to have his house on display for everyone to interact with. It was important for us to create an experience that felt true to who we are as a brand. We wanted to deliver something that everyone would enjoy, not only cool cat and pet holders or NFT enthusiasts either. So, what's next for the cats?
So I feel like what's next for Cool Cats and Cooltopia is introducing more characters to the world. Blue Cat has a bunch of friends, and having more characters just opens the door to more possibilities with the brand and what we can do with the blockchain. Everything really.
Yeah, it's and if you think about like Sanrio or Pokemon, you know, there's generations. There's there's Hello Kitty, and then there's all Hello Kitty's friends. There's Pikachu, and then multiple generations. So Blue Cat is our OG. He's the genesis. He's our primary character. But the intention is to, whether it's animated series or more plushies and merch or games or experiences like this, just to continue leveraging and expanding the IP with new characters, and just also adding to the narrative, adding to the story, getting into hijinks and shenanigans, and you know, taking people along the journey.
Yeah, we're getting a taste of what Cooltopia is right now, but there's plenty more to come.
Well, I think the tokenization of most things is a bit of an inevitability, because it just makes a lot of sense. Just like how there's no global currency, I think that's a pretty big pain point from just like a transactional, financial, monetary perspective. I think the tokenization of things like houses or cars or assets, I mean, stocks are all essentially tokenized. They're just siloed to their exchanges. I think, you know, if Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, stamp collectors, like we're innately collectors, but it's a very, even shoes, like it's so easy to create counterfeit anything, and people love consuming. We're consumers culture. That's what we do around the world. That's what humans do. So I think NFTs have an opportunity to change the world in a way of authenticating and verifying legitimacy of any degree of assets. I think digital is the first place to start, because it's the easiest thing to produce. But I think we're going to see the tokenization of, you know, and pairing with all sorts of real assets. So that's how I think they'll change the world, in the way that it's going to be easily transferable, transparency, blockchain-based, immutable ledger. You can't argue with the authenticity of anything, and you know, that's what's going to be some of the use cases of tokenizations of that.
There's so many ways.
Yeah.
And as an artist, it wasn't until this guy introduced me to the blockchain that kind of opened my eyes to, you know, what NFTs can do for artists. For a long time, all these artists, and still today, are on Instagram, and there's no way they can prove they're creating that art.
Yeah.
Any company could just poach their work and use it for themselves. What's so interesting about the blockchain is that you do have a track record, you have a timestamp, you have a contract that says you're the one who created this. Anywhere it transfers from here has that transaction history on there. As well as you get to make royalties off of every time it's traded, and that's something artists have never seen. And it's just been great for every artist that enters the space.
So that's how NFTs are going to change the world.
Yeah.
How would we describe the journey?
It's felt like a year.
Oh God.
Well,
It was a
actually,
year.
no, sorry. It was a year. It did not feel like
Yeah,
a year.
yeah, it felt like a decade.
Yeah, it felt like a whole decade, and so much has happened. It's been educational, surreal, and just a wild ride. You know, I don't know how to explain it.
It's been a perpetual catching your breath, but you never actually catch it. You're just almost there, and just like, I can't believe this happened. Oh, I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah.
Oh, it's actually still happening. It's
Last year at New York, we had a billboard in Times Square, and we thought that was the craziest thing in the world. That was it.
And now we're in Cooltopia, surrounded by statues and plushies, and it's just like
seeing the world actually fabricate. It's wild. We never thought we'd be here. We just thought we'd sell out, and then of the collection, and that was it.
Yeah.
And we've reached all sorts of audiences worldwide, different brands.
A lot of family too, which is really cool. I think it's like crypto as a whole. I think it mostly speaks to a particular niche demographic, and I think NFTs, when they first started coming out, it was again a very like niche, not particularly family friendly, like just sort of siloed. So Blue Cat is accessible and relatable to everyone, but one thing that's been particularly fulfilling for us is seeing the amount of families. Like, it doesn't matter if you own the token or not, or have an NFT. It's when a kid's just like, I like Blue Cat. You're like, Blue Cat likes you too. Like, that's what it's all about. You know, it's not about the tokenization or NFTs anymore. It's about creating this brand that makes people feel something, and that's transcended, the globe and everywhere, every direction. We're coming up on our year anniversary, which is just going to be a few weeks from now, July 1st. I can't believe how far we've gone in such time, but it's really just the beginning of the beginning. And as Cooltopia continues to materialize, the adventure continues to await us.
Yeah.
You know? We've got more lore coming. Cooltopia is going to continue to keep expanding. More characters coming. More everything. But more importantly,
we like the cats.
Sincerely, thank you all for attending the 2022 Cooltopia NYC event. Whether you were able to join in person or saw highlights via social media, it was an unforgettable moment with memories that'll last a lifetime. And who knows where you just might see Cooltopia next.
Sorry, that was like, what do I do with my hands? Yeah.
Cool. Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Cool.
It's really amazing to see that you can take, a character that you're really connected to that has a really broad appeal and like build so much different stuff out of it. Like, this is straight up like a theme park.
My favorite part is just watching her face light up as she's kind of going around and doing a lot of this stuff. She's even named her cat. She's given her cat a name, and she's been playing the game and raising her pet. So just to come and see her and kind of experience it in real life, like for me, that's been the best part for sure.
Very cool. I like the interaction. I love interactive experiences, like with the wristband and just getting points just to redeem merch, and also like the snacks in the milk bar, for example. I thought that was very cool.
The moment I stepped in, I was like, this is the place I want to be. It's so well organized, it's so cute, the experiences are great. So I really love it.